Hello there, my friend. Welcome to a new episode of Talk Music Talk with Boice. I am Boice, your podcasting host. Thank you for listening. Talk Music Talk is a weekly music interview podcast where I have long-form conversations with people connected to music from different genres and different backgrounds, established and emerging, all different genres. And I know I said weekly, and it's been about a minute since I have been on the air, but I have a bunch of cool things coming out, working on a second podcast. Kind of too soon to say what it is, but I'll still be doing this one, but I will be doing long form conversations with authors. I will definitely keep you posted on that. Also, I have been working on a Kickstarter for this very podcast here. Once that is about to be up and running, of course, you will hear it here first. On this episode, wonderful conversation with Imani Coppola, singer, songwriter, probably first came to your attention in 97 with her album Chupacabra. The single, Legend of a Cowgirl. She was 18 years old. She has a wonderful new album coming out this fall on Ipecac Records. It's called The Protagonist. In this conversation, we talk about the highs and lows of signing to a major label when she was only 18. That was Columbia Records. We talked about what she learned in that period. Also in this conversation, we get into her thoughts on recording, communicating through her voice, releasing music independently, and plus we talk about that new album, The Protagonist, coming out September 2019. We talk about the making of it, the concept behind it, and after the conversation, you will hear the new single from it, SAMO. I've heard the album. It is great. We recorded this in her home studio, and we kick off talking about the upcoming vocal session she had during that week. Here it is, without further ado, my conversation with Imani Coppola. Enjoy.
Right now, it just feels like there's rocks around my throat, and I know smoking isn't helping that.
Do you have tricks for that?
Tricks, yeah. No. Give me a break. Not at this point. I mean, you could do the throat coat shit, like when you're desperate. Mm-hmm. Like when I have to do something real, I do like the throat coat, honey, lemon shit. Okay. But if I'm sitting home and like someone sends me a session, is like, you got 4 hours, fucking smoke and drink and get it done.
Push through.
Because when you're at home, you could take as much time as you need. Yeah. You could edit the fuck out of it. Mm-hmm. You could really manipulate it. And usually it's about the vibe. It comes from a vibe within you. It's not really about technical skills. It's like about a fucking feeling. And what's important is for me to figure out how to get to that feeling, access that place faster without chemicals or with, being in front of people, like getting over that whole block, whatever that does to you, and just get to that place that produces emotional results and makes something like singing fucking Febreze feel heartfelt and like honest, So.
How did you discover that?
What?
That feeling of
tapping in?
Yeah.
Well, I think it has it's just something that requires practice. When you're not in it, and you could hear it. Mm-hmm. Like I'll do entire vocal sessions for my own stuff. Yeah. Come back and not feel it, and just get through it, and come back the next day feeling differently, whether I slept more or something nice happened. Mm-hmm. You re-sing it, and you could just fucking tell. You could just tell that there's such a difference in your commitment to what you're singing and saying, and your pitch is better when you're feeling good, and when you're heartbroken, your pitch is flat, and which makes sense to me. Like you're flat, you're out of tune. So as far as like how to access that place, it's kind of like a meditative place, and it's also just a choice. Like, it's really that simple. It's like, just go there. Like, make this end. You know what I mean? Make this over so you could go outside and play and stop being stubborn. A lot of the times we fucking fight with ourselves as performers. We have this battle. It's almost as if we want to go through that weird mental process where you're just putting yourself down, like you're teaching, like a coach would, like in order to get a better result out of you. Okay. Like that for me is motivation, but it's not the best motivation, and there's a more effective way. So, like, when I do sessions at home, like, usually I'm dealing with fucking technical difficulties, Pro Tools mishaps, a very slow computer that drives me nuts and really stresses me out, which makes me sing in a shitty way, and I have to correct that myself energetically really quick. Like, I go through this meltdown, fucking screaming at the computer. Maybe I punch the keyboard, like that happens. I get physical with my shit. I've never abused my microphone. Like, I'm really good about everything else. Oh, boom, you know. And it's just like, who is this helping? You know, I've smashed phones. I've fucking thrown laptops. But in the end, it's you paying for it. You know.
Is it the type of thing where you know, like, you can listen to a session and you know whatever it took, negative stuff which it took to get into it, but other people hear like, oh, that's perfect, Imani.
They have no fucking idea. They have no idea what happens in this room.
Well, how do you get to a point where your instrument, your voice, is you can go to it reliably?
You refrain from smoking and drinking.
Okay.
Period. Okay. That's like the
easiest
way. A lot of
great singers have smoked and drank.
Well, yeah, you can, but it hurts, and it doesn't feel as good to sing.
Okay.
But yeah, you could do it that way too. But you're just making shit harder for yourself.
Okay.
You can completely access the same, and especially after years and years of damage, you're gonna have access to that raspy quality. Like, this bitch has been through something forever after a certain amount of time. And I actually recommend it to, like, people whose voices are too pure. I mean, I think there's only one place for that, and it's Disney or Broadway.
Okay.
You know, and if you're not on Broadway or Disney, we want to hear something we could hold on to, you know?
Now, how much is that? Is the sound of the voice and then, like, the story you're going to tell with the song, or what the song means, getting to what the song is about?
I think they're so interconnected. You know, sometimes the sound of the voice itself tells the story, and you don't really have to do much with lyrically. You know, all you have to do is emote. So
when do you think you learned that, like, the story of a song, to not just sing through it?
It took a long time, because I really have never even considered myself a singer until I was able to kind of conjure that emotion. I always kind of made fun, like, part of how I learned how to sing was making fun of other singers. And sorry for the shift of sound, I know I'm kind of leaning to the side here, but a lot of learning how to use your voice is mocking other sounds and other singers, because I never really felt like I had my own true voice. I didn't grow up in a church. I don't sing gospel naturally. That's something I had to really mimic and learn and practice those riffs and those scales, which I still suck at. Like, I don't have an elastic voice. And quite honestly, I'm jealous of these white people who are able to just do that shit. I was never able. I had more of like a soul, bluesy, you know, not soul in the riffing crap, but just like a deep sense of whatever, and rock and roll. And you like that sound I made? That's the soul I'm talking about.
That's what you were looking for.
Fucking ridiculous. But what was the question? I forget.
How do you get to that point, or recognize that that's the sound?
When I found it, when I give myself the chills.
Okay.
Like when I feel it. Like when I feel like, not only did I just communicate to a potential audience, I just communicated with myself. Like, I just connected with what I was doing. That's like a really, really good place to be, you know? And I don't always hit it. And I just saw, holy crap, Amazing Grace, the Aretha concert documentary.
Yes. Incredible.
She's always connected. Always. Like, her voice in that place, you know, like, wow. It was mind-blowing and mesmerizing to watch this, and so much command she had over everyone else's emotions in that room and her own. It's just a beautiful. She's so humble about it too. Yeah.
So when you're like 18 and coming out, so how do you even decide, Like what you're going to do with your voice? Because you hadn't been doing the church thing and all that.
You know what I was doing? Fucking musical theater.
Okay.
I was doing musical theater and choir in high school. You know, from like grade school to high school, I was doing choir. But choir, you get that's like the voice you get. You don't. And musical theater, you learn how to use your diaphragm, but it comes off so and like. So I had to marry like those two extreme, like kind of not welcome in pop music, not cool at all voices, and I had to tone it, really reel it in, and try to find my own voice. And quite honestly, that first record, I can't sing for shit. What I can do is I could layer the fuck out of vocals, and I have a good ear. I could pick out those harmonies and make them move and be creative with them. And I was rapping for the most part. My singing was just like... I mean, it's hard for me to even listen. I'm just like, oh my God, who the hell signed me?
Did you go into it like, oh yeah, I rap too, or is that just how you were singing?
Dude, I did not do shit back then. They told me, you should do this. You know, they have a vision. They saw I was doing some quirky shit. Most of it was musical comedy that I was recording. And, you know, they were like, hey, let's kind of lead you toward, why don't you rap this, you know? It was something whenever I rapped, trust me, it was a joke. Okay. I was making fun I wasn't making fun, I was just having fun with the craft. I never thought of myself as a rapper. You know, I tried to be gangsta, you know, but it was always in a joking manner. Like, one of the raps I wrote in college was, I seen a star shoot. I seen a star shoot. I want to see another star shoot. And I was just totally joking, and I wanted to write silly raps about like things you would never like things in nature you would never find like a homeboy like a gangsta, you know. I wanted to like juxtapose with this hard ass rapper like in nature, just in awe. So I guess maybe they saw something with that, and they were like, why don't you speak these verses and sing the choruses, you know, because I could do a little bit of both, but in no way at that moment did I think I was anything, you know.
So did you even have a vision for what a career would look like? Or was just like,
I wasn't trying to get a career in being a recording artist. That was the last thing on earth that
Did you have a dream for
I was a freshman in college. I was eating pints of ice cream and Doritos and fucking a cup of noodles every goddamn night with not knowing the consequences of eating like that and just believing that somehow, you know, I don't know. I was just not worried about shit like that. I just wanted to explore. I wanted to explore all the music. I was still a classically trained violinist. It was, you know, that is how I identified. I started out school as a violin major, and I had just crossed over to a platform where I could have a little more access to how you can record a sound and the capabilities and the technology. I wanted to know more about that, and that was surprising because I didn't know that I had that passion in me. Like, I wanted to know how I loved sound. Like, I discovered how much I loved sound, all of it. Like, and I wanted to know so much more about it. And
like, what comes behind the sound?
Just
the technique, more technique and more knowledge of what you're doing.
Yeah, the science of sound. You know. And that mixed with the fact that I had this musical theater past, this dark musical theater past, I got to really, and I'm also a writer, and I wanted to do it all. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I just know that I wanted to somehow create. I was thinking of just switching over to the film department. Like, I didn't know. I wanted to do it all, and it was just so unfair that I had to choose one. So I landed upon a sound where I could still be perform and do my characters, write music, play my violin, and I could kind of do it all without having to narrow it down, and that led me to being discovered by some music business people.
So how do you stumble into that at
You don't.
18?
You really don't. My sister was well established in the music industry. She's older than me, and she was living in New York City. She had a grunge rock band. She had her connections. She had her brushes with signing with major labels. Great management. It just never crossed over for her. It never happened. However, she introduced, them to my music, just kind of, I guess, as a form of entertainment, as they were in Woodstock, taking their mushrooms for the weekend. That's, that's what they used to do in the 90s. Everyone used to just go out to, Woodstock, to the woods.
Get mushroomed up.
And just, I miss those days. So she would, like, play them my tapes, cassette tapes, and I guess her manager, who then turned her boyfriend at some point, now he is the father of my niece, but they got divorced, but he was like, there's something there. How old is she? Like, what is she doing? What does she play? What's her story? And he hooked me up with one of his producers. Actually, he was a publisher as well. And one of his producers is Mike Mangini, who did the Diggable Planets, Leaders of New School, I think. He did a few tracks. He's done a bunch of shit. I mean, in the future, Joss Stone, I don't know, a bunch of stuff. That all seems a Baja Men Who Let the Dogs Out. He was part of that. And we immediately started to just write. He used to pick me up at Penn Station. We used to drive out to Jersey to his apartment, eat Domino's pineapple pizza with ham on it. I would pass out on the couch like in a food coma, and he would make beats. And sampling was big, and he was big into psychedelic 60s and 70s rock, and I was totally into that. So like we connected on choosing these samples, and he had the whole hip hop background, and just putting the two together, it was like I was in heaven. It was just like these are my two favorite things put in the same thing, and I get to represent this, you know. So that really happened fast. We made 3 songs, and there was a fucking bidding war in the end. Like a bidding war. You can't even dream that shit up anymore. Every fucking label, major and minor, wanted this fucking track. Yeah, they wanted it. They wanted the whole record. So I was flying to LA. I was meeting every record executive there is. Fucking, that guy, the Interscope guy, the Jimmy Iovine, the fucking Arista guy, Clive. I met them all. I insulted them all. And Sylvia Rhone, just because it was all so surreal to me, and I was so detached from the experience because it's not something that I was looking to get. It's like, oh, this means so much to me. I'm going to kiss ass. I was the fucking college kid in an art school that all we did was make fun of these people all day long.
And now it's happening to you.
And here we are. And I'm not going to stop making fun of you. I'll do it right here because I know you want me. And I just want you to know this is what you get. And you're still going to want me because that's what money means, to you. And to me, this is a fucking joke. And I soon later learned. You like that?
Soon later,
I learned, because time is relative. Yeah. Soon later, I learned that it was actually real and it was important. And I mean, I can't say that during my brush with fame, I ever embraced it as real. It was after it was over. Yeah. And I realized how much fucking psychological damage. I'm like, oh, that did happen, by the way. Yeah. And not only did it happen, you actually wanted it. And I'm not even sure, if it's because it went away and I really had no idea what the fuck I had and how drastically the world was going to change after, after the heyday of, I don't know, the internet. Let's just say there was a before the internet and there's an after. I don't know why we don't have a name for that in history, but there is a definite difference.
You were on the cusp of that.
I was on the cusp, but at that point, we all didn't really think it was going to be anything. We thought it was a passing fucking fad,
Yeah, just another thing.
Isn't that crazy that you can even have that thought?
Because I was in grad school, I had a professor, and he was in his 80s, and he was just you can talk to someone on the other side of the world? That's we're just whatever.
Why would you want to do that? Yeah. Talk to people outside.
He thought it was amazing. We were whatever. He knew the internet before we did. We just didn't care. Knowing what would happen.
We were real humans still.
Yeah.
Who like interactions with other humans. We like to play together.
Did you enjoy that?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course. I had my moments for sure. It was just a lot of fucking pressure for someone who has never. My first live show ever, aside from on the William Floyd fucking music, this stage, was, I think it was in Atlantic City. It was a showcase for like all of Sony.
Yeah,
that was the first time I ever played with a band live. You know, and everyone was very concerned about how I was gonna do as far as a performer. And I just approached it like I was doing a fucking, you know, I had the starring role in fucking Bye Bye Birdie, you know? Yeah. But it was a little jazz handy, because if that's all you know, that's what you're going to give. Yeah. It wasn't until later in my life that I actually cared about being cool over just the performance element. Like, I started to, it wasn't a care, it was more like, I had a certain, I don't know, I learned about restraint, and I learned about the coolness that it's not like, oh, I'm here to look cool. It's like, just be cool, you know?
And that will radiate.
Yeah, that's rock and roll. It's not, like, this is a different form of theater. It's not theater, and it took me a long time to understand that. But that's what made it so fun for me, because I wasn't committed to, you know, I didn't have my experience in New York City. I didn't learn what cool was and how playing it down in restraint was way cooler than just putting your shit out there. But I had fun with the wigs, the costumes, the shoes, the wings I would wear, the eyelashes, the glitter. Every night was a different character. It was like, here's my stage, here's my platform. I'm going to do what I do, you know, and play my violin.
Did you have anyone in your corner, like, guiding you or that you could trust and talk to about this? Or?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Nobody.
Really?
Nobody at all.
Okay.
Nope. I'm in therapy now. No, I had fucking nobody. And, yeah. I had me, though. I had fucking me. Yeah. I'm constantly writing in my journal, constantly having a video document. Before iPhones, I had a little camcorder, and I would check in myself every night. I was too early to drink myself to sleep. I wanted no part of that, you know? I did eat a lot of junk food, sugar, French fries. Like, that was kind of my little escape.
Well, that's what you do at 18.
No, and it gives you energy to be the fucking crazy woman I was back then.
So moving forward, right?
Yeah.
So the success, you had some success with that, right?
Yeah.
I remember, like, hearing about you everywhere.
Yeah, it was a thing for a second.
Yeah.
And it was a little, it was weird to be such a thing and then to be so fucking invisible and anonymous. That fucked with my head.
Yeah.
That really fucked with my head. And every now and then, I still hear myself sometimes in my head, like, man, 20 years ago, I would not be treated like this, you know?
Okay,
like,
you're
people
having
are
to make the
just
adjustment.
looking right through me, like, as if I don't even fucking exist. I mean, like, even as a human, like, a woman who gets older in New York City, surrounded by a youth population, you know, most people my age are either at their fucking jobs or at home with their kids. Yeah. And I'm still out there, not at my job, and not at home with my kids. And, you know, my peers, or not my peers, people who go out still are young, and they don't fucking, they're like, who's, you know, they don't even notice me. I'm just like nothing. And it's just, it's a weird feeling. Okay.
Is that something that you feel, you notice gradually that's happening to you as a woman?
Yeah.
Because as a man, you don't even think about that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you know, absolutely. It happens.
So you got all that, and what do you think is going to happen, like, after the first album? Like, do you have any plans? Yeah, because you're like...
Oh, I don't have... you know, honestly, I think it was all such a whirlwind of... I don't know, it was just like I was riding this wave, and I just felt like the wave was just going to get bigger, and it was eventually going to lead to opportunities. I thought, you know, we were trying to transition to TV, me as like an actor, playing a character player. I just thought it was just going to continue. Yeah. And, but it didn't. Yeah. And that's fine, because honestly, I don't know. I just, something really kind of the truth kind of settled in about the music industry when I lost my first deal. You know, all these people were just kissing my ass, up my fucking colon, kissing my small intestine. That's really disgusting and graphic, but and then they just dropped. They disappeared. And I got screwed. Like, I was not privy to the fact that I needed to pay taxes. I thought that was something my money manager had dealt with, taken care of. I had moved. I didn't get the notices. Like, 5 years down the line, I'm being leaned $30,000 from the IRS. And I'm thinking, okay, I've been dropped. Everyone who was, like, kissing my ass thought it was going to be so easy to get another record deal. But at that point, it was not easy anymore. There was interest, but I didn't want to do what they wanted me to do. I didn't want to be the sample girl doing raps. I was like, I'm a fucking writer. I'm an artist. Let me do that. Why, at such a young age, should you put such a low ceiling on I was like, this is not fair. You should have let me fucking finish school. Like, they told me to drop out of college. That was not my choice. I was like, okay, well, they're dangling a fucking carrot, a lot of money. I come from a poor family. This could be very useful, you know, and and I knew, I was very, very aware that a lot of this decision was made because they were just offering me a lot of fucking money. You know?
When somebody wants you, they will say,
and it just all seems so unreal. So, and then they all went away, and I felt betrayed and abandoned, and all the things you would feel. And then I was living in New York City. I had no fucking friends. All my friends were still in fucking college. You know, I was alone all the time, just wondering what the hell I was doing, and still had some money in the bank, so I didn't have to, like, go get a job. And wouldn't that be weird? I went from MTV to Starbucks. Like, it was just weird. And there was no one to help me with that transition, no one to guide me, no one to advise me. It was just me. Like, just they fucking dumped me on the planet and just left me there to fucking die, you know? But
how do you make it through that?
I just got into my creative zone and followed just my creative inclinations. I just explored the city. You know, eventually I was able to make a few friends. They showed me scenes and stuff. I got involved with bands. You know, I started to be a sideman, like a violinist, and I just started to write, record just tons of fucking music, and I was having a blast with that because finally there wasn't like a producer saying, no, don't do this, or sing it this way, or that, you know, change his lyric. It was, I could do whatever the fuck I want, and it was like, this is the feeling, this is where I want to be. This feels right to me. This is exactly what I wanted, and I'm happy that I walked away from the other thing. You know, I didn't sell out. And it didn't really take me that long. I mean, it took me a long time to figure out how to make a living. Freelance, independent, and you know, I just started to sing on commercials and stuff. And do production for commercials and write songs specifically for movie scenes, and it's not something that you could just, hey, I think I want to go sing on a commercial today. I'm just gonna go outside and sing. No, it's like about knowing people. It's about having a name, establishing a name for yourself. So those people actually come to you. It's not like you looking, and that's kind of always been a philosophy to me. And I know sometimes this gets in the way of probably me moving forward. And I always felt like if it was intended, it would come to you. Like, all you got to do is keep on creating and stay alive, you know? And the shit will come to you. And you put it out there, get it out there. Now that you have the ability to, you got to, but, you know, there's some desperation in, like, I could never see myself going to auditions. I did it for a second. I just, anything that fucks with your absolute certainty that you're, like, I don't know. I'm not trying to come off as arrogant, but, like, something, whatever you do, you should know that it's you who does this. It's not like, oh, maybe that person's going to do this. Maybe that person's standing in line who looks exactly like me. You know?
And not waiting for someone else to choose you.
Right. It's like
a magic wand type thing.
Right. Or just, you know, you have to prove yourself to yourself. That's it, you know. And that's a struggle, you know. That's a challenge that many people don't have the fucking balls to really go through on a daily basis. And I'm telling you, it's fucking hard some days. It's fucking hard.
Yeah. Did you ever, either with label or yourself, have to, like, okay, am I too quirky for black radio?
Oh, God, yes.
Too R&B?
Please. Are you kidding me? Yep. Story of my life. That's not just radio. It's, like, in life, socially. Like, even to this day, I'm like, you know, I moved back to Bed-Stuy, and there's that whole dichotomy between, like, black people and white people, and when I moved to a white neighborhood, I'm the black person. When I moved to a black neighborhood, I'm the fucking white person. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck you all. Fuck you all. I'm going to be me. Sorry. Like, don't give me fucking shade. Like, I'm both. Can we work with this here? But the world is so fucking divided now. And, like, people are just aggravating. And I have to really make an effort to not be as impatient as I've been with people.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go.
When did you start releasing music independently?
That happened. I guess that happened like in about. Oh man, this was like 2000 maybe 2001.
Okay.
Yeah, this was like 2001. And I didn't stop, man. I was just like. I mean, it didn't make much money, and I thought I had the upper hand because I had established a fan base, and I thought it would be so easy to just drop an album online, and so many people would be waiting. No, man, that's a whole other level of understanding that most artists, true artists, don't really want a part of. That's not art. It is to these kids, These kids find it to be an art form, but to me, it's a reason to get lazy about, like, you practicing your instrument and, like, actually creating true art instead of just shitty content just to fucking get a like, you know?
Yeah.
It's pathetic, but that's, like, the new standard. It's okay. Like, they don't even know that it sucks. Yeah. And it's shit. And it's vapid, you know? They don't know that. Yeah. They have no idea. And this is the new standard. And it's only going to get fucking stupider. So what the fuck? What are we supposed to, I'm fucked here.
Because, you know, it's interesting to me when you said that, you know, your first show, you had only been doing musicals, and now you have a lot of people that they're big online and then they've never done the performance. And then, because there was some internet singer, I saw her at Rockwood, and she had done some big hit, I didn't even remember. And then it's like, it was clear that she did not know how to perform in front of people.
That's the thing.
The club was sold out.
That's the
to
thing.
See her.
So I don't know if they have a name for it yet, but these kids that are so used to performing in front of their cameras and having stopping, going, like being so casual about, hey guys, I'm in my bathroom, you know, I'm so cozy, and their dog walks in. They do that on stage, and it's just like, no, bitches, it's a whole different. When
you have people
and no one is teaching them how to do this or how to be this. It's just everything is just suckier. It's like, you know, this is just the new normal. They don't know any different.
Yeah. So what do you've had, like, the single out last
recently?
Week? Single.
So, I made a new album, and Ipecac put it out, and we're doing like a thing where we put a single out every month. So until the fall release of the entire album.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you stay with all that's happened to you? Still stay motivated enough to still do your music?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, because quite frankly, right now I have no fucking desire whatsoever to make music. None. I have no desire. I have a desire to hear it, listen to it, don't feel like making it. And maybe that'll come back. I'm like, you know, I just moved, and my brother just passed away. It's very, very...
Sorry.
Thank you. Intense, disorienting experience, but really makes you reflect on how much time you've devoted to a specific thing in your life, and how fucking short and precious life is. And Jesus, maybe I should take a break with this and devote my time into living my fucking life and not hiding in a studio creating because I can't make sense of the fucking world and it scares me.
Yeah.
And no one gets me because I'm fucking half black and half white and I don't fit in anywhere and all these stories I tell myself in my head. Get the fuck out there. Make some friends. Like, this is your life. This is your life. And no one gives a shit, quite frankly. You release a fucking single, you're forgotten about in 3 hours. 2, you're not getting paid. No one's making any money here.
Yeah.
No one. No one's buying music. Why are you doing this? So I'm trying to reapproach why I'm making music, who my audience is, like, within myself. You know, obviously, I care about the music I write, but... yeah, it's always there. And every time I finish an album and I go through like maybe 2 months of just taking a break, I always go through this mental process like, oh, did it go? Is it gone forever? Shit, what do I do now? Who do I become?
Why do you think you still do it then? Huh? Why do you think you still make music then? If you have that relationship with it.
It gives me a sense of purpose. And that... you know, life isn't just about paying your rent, you know?
Yeah.
It gives me a sense of, and also it's one of those rare places you could go in life where you just know who the fuck you are. I sit in front of that microphone, sitting there. Most of the time I'm sitting when I'm singing, operating Pro Tools, and I am right there with me, you know?
Yeah.
There's no divide. There's, you know, of course there's that... okay, do this over, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I'm home. Like, I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's the only place I could get that.
Okay.
And thank God I have that place. Some people don't have that place. Some people have it when they're driving a race car, you know?
Yeah.
But it's that kind of feeling. It's almost an adrenaline rush, and it's just a feeling of self-sufficiency and being able to see your creations come to fruition and know how to do it. It's so fucking empowering for me.
Yeah. So is it everything that comes after that?
Oh, all the
That's
tedious
the problem.
shit?
Yeah.
You
after
know,
the
there is some sort of connection, spiritual connection to that. It's work and it's tedious and it's but you know when you get your taxes done every year, and there's that feeling, I did it again.
I didn't want to do it, but I did it.
Yeah, there's a good feeling you get from that. It's like the grimiest work, and you just do it, and there is a sense of accomplishment. You know, and that's great for people who have no self-esteem like myself.
I might have heard about that a little.
Working on it. It's been a long life.
I think we're all working on it. Yeah. So tell me about the album. Like, what is, how far into it are you?
What are you talking about? It's over.
You're already done recording?
Yeah, it's been months. That's why I'm like I sound like I'm over it. It's because I fucking am over it. I recorded it for the past 2 years. I was ready to put it out the moment I got the masters back, you know? But then I got a label involved, and they have their timeline, and so I had to like put the brakes on everything and go at their pace, which is a decent pace. It's better than most labels. It probably wouldn't have been coming out till like fucking next year if I was dealing with some other label.
Okay, so what can you tell me about it?
Lots of stuff. Well, it's called The Protagonist. We could start there. And it's basically a bit of an observation and a mirror to this crazy time we're experiencing in America, in the world, on planet Earth. And God help us, probably other planets. You know, our signal has been so crap. I'm sure it's being felt in far distant galaxies. So instead of like being preachy about what I wanted to express, I wanted to be more of an observer, like a seer, someone who is seeing but not necessarily inserting their opinions like Facebook people. And because a lot of what I was hesitant to have a voice. I didn't want to add to the chaos, and I don't give a fuck what side you're on. If you're sitting there bitching about it, it's the same shitty signal, you know? Yeah. It's negative, and it's upsetting, and like it's an unpleasant fucking thing that we've all been reduced to, like, just shit talking constantly, and everyone's fucking aggravated constantly, and I feel like it's just, we're post God, and people forgot the message, which was love, and now it's hate. Whether you fucking believe it or not, that is the fucking message. The stupidity signal, the racism, the fear. It's fear. It's not even hate. It's fucking fear. And I was just silent. Like, I was just so despondent about, I wanted to just wait for it all to be over, you know? Like, hurry the fuck up so I could be an artist again, you know? And I was like, no, bitch, you gotta go in. It was just like, I can't believe you. Like, now you're gonna be quiet? Like, now? You're a fucking coward. Shut up. Get out of bed. Stop watching fucking whatever the hell you're watching on your computer. Like, don't be complacent. Open your eyes. Take your earplugs out. Check shit out around you. Yeah, it is upsetting. And, like, let it go through you and let it come out of your brain and out of your pen or whatever and out of your body and make an art piece based on now. And, I mean, there's just so many writing opportunities. Just, I don't think I would go in for like another album on this is like, but I think it's a good album. Has like a tattoo of the times, like a sonic tattoo. All great classic albums have social commentary and political commentary. You don't have to be like an activist and write activist music. So there's some of that. And I really did my best to, like, touch upon all the subjects. I didn't get to the hashtag #MeToo, and obviously the anti-abortion thing. That is the new obsession. Yeah.
So is this more like you looking at the world as opposed to more what's going inside?
Well, there's some of that too, and I tried to use both, and I wanted them to mirror each other. There's a lot of personal stuff. There's a lot of references to death and suicide prevention, and just really accepting that life is it's a heavy situation. It's not all going to be fun and games. It's heavy. And I was definitely, quite honestly, going through a phase of wondering, like, how... Not if, but how I would kill myself.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I was having a really dark fucking moment. Like, and it's just an accumulation of living in Flatbush under the amount of stress, environmental stress I was dealing with. I don't even, like, now that I'm here, I don't even know how I made it out alive. Okay. I was so fucking in trouble and so isolated. And, you know, I was in the hospital 3 times since I moved there from a drinking accident, drinking myself into a stupor, losing my balance, cutting myself open by accident, and getting stitches. Okay. So it was more like, I'm going to kill myself here, but it might be by accident, you know? It's like oops, I'm dead. And then...
But that didn't happen, so how did you
it didn't
move
happen.
yourself through that?
I fucking channeled all of this confusion, rage, and fear about the future, and like just feeling like shit about who I was and like what I had become. Like, Jesus, I'm a lowlife. And even at my lowest point, I'm not a lowlife, just for the record. But like, I have fucking high standards. Yeah. And it's just I couldn't deal with the roaches and the rats and the noise, and I would just want to disappear from it. Yeah. And I wasn't eating, and I would just black out, and I was still painting through all that. I was still creating. I was still singing. I don't even know how the fuck I got through the past 6 years in blackout. Yeah. But I'm here, and I'm still standing. I'm a strong motherfucker, and my subconscious is just, it's looking out for me. Okay. But I'm not relying on that. Obviously, it's so much easier to get your shit together when you're in an environment that supports it.
Yes.
You can't when you're hearing fire sirens 24 hours a day. Your neighbors are upstairs having these epic Trini fucking domestic battles, shaking the entire building, scaring the shit out of you. Hopping over rats, dealing with just the stench of... I'm not a weed smoker, so like I just can't stand the stench of Brooklyn weed. That deep, musky... It's just like revolting to me, and just having... So that was rough.
Yeah. So was your art, creating the art, was the thing that kind of like your life raft? Was that what it was for you?
Like the painting or the music?
Yeah, or at least the painting. Like if you didn't have that.
It was a nice escape, because I have that creative urge for the most part. That shit is there. And like sometimes I don't physically feel like making music. It's a very physical thing. And it's just I don't have the energy, or like my voice isn't right. And to be very specific, I actually fucking severed a nerve in October. So this whole finger's numb. I wasn't able to physically play instruments for a while. Painting is just a lovely little quiet break from sounds. And you get, color is so fucking healing. Yeah. And just the gentle nature and it, painting taught me so much about myself and how fucking detrimentally impatient I am, and how my impatience creates such shit. Like it looks like shit because I'm throwing colors on top of colors before they get to dry, and in the end, color on top of color creates a big brown shit painting. And there's really nowhere you could go from there. It's so at first I learned a lot about slowing the fuck down, and it's one of the things that Alfie actually told me, that my brother who crossed over. He was just like, you gotta slow down. I'm like, where are you going? Where's the race? Like, take some time, enjoy it. So I guess my thing is, I want to see results now. I want to see what I could create now. Like this feeling, I want to see what it looks like now. And it's just like, it's that fucking impulse that I have within me. It's the problem with everything that's fucked up in my life. There's nothing good results from my impulsivity. And it's the same with, and you could apply it to anything. And if you learn how to train that impulse, or just delay it, give it a minute, give it an hour. You could fix a lot of, if you have addiction issues, or if you have a very reactive personality where you flip, or, God, I've gotten myself into the stupidest shit just with my reactiveness. Not just like business relationships and relationships in general. Broken laptops, shattered cell phones,
everything but the microphones.
God,
everything but your microphones.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything but your microphone.
Like, no, man, respect.
So you mentioned mindfulness. Is that what's been helping you?
Mindfulness.
You mentioned mindfulness.
Yeah, and also like abstaining from drugs and alcohol really helps you be clear of mind and have more control over your fucking your crazy impulse, and just you're able to see yourself clearer. How can you connect the dots when you can't see the dots? You gotta just get it to focus. So fucking easy.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to the album.
Cool. I'm gonna send you an advance.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you should be able to listen to the whole thing, so you have an understanding of where the fuck I'm coming from.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, cool. So much for me having a little meltdown out there. That was my reactive thing. I'm like, life story. Oh man. Oh, rats. I'm not in the mood. PMS. Life story.
I enjoyed it. This was great.
No, it was fun. It was
Did I leave anything out?
I don't think so.
Okay. Best place for people to keep up with you online, the new music?
I suppose Facebook?
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm an old-timer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Where do these kids go these days? Twitter. I guess that's the thing.
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah, sure.
Instagram's the party.
Instagram. Let's just say that. I want to sound cool.
Okay. Instagram. Okay. Imani Coppola. Instagram.
Cool.
Thank you.
No, my pleasure. Thank you. It was the summer of 79. I met a boy on the scene in the Lower East Side. We scribbled words on the walls, spray painted the town. Hip hop, punk rock, bottoms upside down. Yeah, the Bronx was burning and the city was turning in its grave. Beats were breaking, bomb train scraping through the tunnel to the fright of day. It was the same old, 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 same old. It was the autumn 2006. CBGB's closed the curtain, final act, Patti Smith. Towers collapsed, the compact disc was obsolete. Boredom is the birthplace of creativity. He stayed in his bedroom with his MacBook Pro. 9/11's Great Recession dwarfed the planet Pluto. Stop and frisk raised the risk for mainly blacks and Latinos. Hey, so yeah, yeah. It was the summer 2019. He was a content creator who blew up on IG. Hashtag fame, internet celebrity. Made $1 million mining cryptocurrency. And the world was trolling for America to become great again. Control, 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 control. Guns were pulling, Kanye West was running for president. It was the same old, 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 same old. It was the same old, same old, same old, same old, same
And that was the Protagonist new track, SAMO, from Imani Coppola. What a pleasure to talk to her. I know at the end she talks about me asking her life story, which I did before we started recording. She kind of bristled at it, but you know what? I think the interview turned out just great. Again, you can find her everywhere online at Imani Coppola. I'm online also at talkmusictalk.com for more podcast information and to stream every single episode. And I love Instagram, so follow me there at This Is Boice. You can subscribe to the podcast many places: iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, everywhere else. Just search for Talk Music Talk. Please leave a positive review and or rating wherever you happen to be listening, because this happens to expose the new listener to the show, and that is always helpful. There is also a TMT app wherever you like to get your apps, so subscribe to that. And thank you for listening. Until next time, and there will be a next time, this one's for you, Liz.